Hello friends, and welcome to Yoga with Rachel. Also, welcome to day 6 of our at-home yoga journey here together. I'm so happy that you are here. Today's theme is practice gratitude. In terms of items, feel free to bring along with you a blanket, a yoga block, or a thick book. All right, let's get started. Okay friends, come on down to the ground. Find a comfortable seat of your choice. So we have been here a few times throughout our practice here together. So you can come to a cross-legged position. You can sit up on a blanket, a yoga block. You can place one foot in front of the other, a kneeling position, whatever it takes, so that way you can find some comfort and ease in our first posture here together. Let's just loop our shoulders a few times, inviting the shoulders to relax away from the ears. Wonderful. Bring your hands to heart in prayer position and bow your head. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Let's breathe on in together and out. So the theme for today's practice is practice gratitude. So first, what does gratitude mean to you? Perhaps what words come to your mind? Second, how can we practice gratitude? What are the ways that we can show others or even show ourselves gratitude? So a couple of months ago, I started something called Mindful Mornings. I spend about 5 minutes each and every single morning writing down 5 things I am grateful for and 5 things that I am proud of. It has become a part of my morning ritual, and I have to say, after doing this, I feel happier, lighter, and I typically have more productive days. So that is just my experience. We all have unique experiences. So I invite you to think of one thing, one person, one object, whatever, that you feel grateful for. It could be the sun, the trees, shelter, food, a person, a pet, coffee, chocolate, anything, even yourself. I invite you to hold on to that image, hold on to that word as we make our way through our practice here today. All right, let's breathe on in some gratitude and then send out some gratitude on the exhale. Open up your eyes if you had closed them. Place your fingers on your shoulders. On our breath in, let's bring our elbows together. Up, looking on up, looking up towards the ceiling, arching through our back body. And then on the exhale, sending our elbows back and around. Beautiful. 2 more times, breathing on in. Elbows go up towards the sky, look up. And then exhale, around they go. 1 more time, breathe on in. And out. All right, hands come to our lap or our knees. Let's now just take some circles with our nose, nice and slow. Working out any stiffness that may have built up in our neck. Feel free to reverse your circle at any time. All right, and let's bring our head back over our heart space. Let's make our way to all fours now. Okay, If you have a blanket, feel free to use that to pad your knees. You can also use a pillow, or you can even roll your yoga mat over, your choice. Okay, so when we arrive there, let's stack our wrists underneath our shoulders, knees go underneath the hip points, spread through the fingers, press into the fingertips, and press on into the tops of your feet. Rock that pelvis forward and look down at the earth. So we have been here a few times in tabletop position throughout our journey together. So feel free to find ways to lengthen through the spine, to press on out of your foundation. And we are here for one breath cycle. On our next breath in, let's reach our tailbone up towards the sky, looping the shoulders, opening on up through the chest, feeling a nice generous stretch in our bellies. And then on our next exhale, tucking the tailbone under, rounding through the back body, chin towards the chest. 2 more times, breathe in to find our cow pose. And then exhale to make our way into cat. 1 more. Breathe on in to come back to a neutral spine tabletop position. Let's bump our hips towards the right and then look past your right shoulder. And then on over to the left, looking past your left shoulder. 2 more rounds on each side. Right and left. Right and left. Coming back to center. Bring the big toes to touch, knees go wide. Begin to walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat as you begin to melt your sit bones towards your heels. Beautiful. Stay here nice and lifted. Perhaps you even come up onto the fingertips. Just finding a little swaying action from side to side. Always finding organic movement and ways to just really feel good. Perfect. Breathe on in. And then on our exhale, we melt our chest towards the earth. The forearms can rest on the earth. And the last to release to or towards the earth is our forehead. You can use a yoga block, a blanket to pad the forehead. You can also use your hands, creating a little hand pillow. And my friends, if this posture is not jiving with you today, feel free to come to a puppy pose. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So we walk our knees under our hip points. Our knees will stay stacked under the hip points as we reach our tailbone up towards the sky, pressing on into the tops of our feet, walking our hands towards the top edge of our mat, and then melting our upper body towards the earth. Forearms rest on the earth, and last to release is our forehead towards the earth. So wherever you are, breathe. Breathe in some gratitude, some appreciation. Both are a pose of surrender, a pose of gratitude. So as we are here, I invite you to think about something that you feel grateful for in the present moment. This could be the exact same thing that you thought about at the very beginning of our practice here together, or it could be something different. Notice how that makes you feel. Do you feel happier, content, lighter, energized? Is the breath flowing a little bit more freely? And if you're unsure about what you're feeling grateful for in the present moment, please know that that is okay. I just want you to know that I am grateful for you. Let's breathe on in some gratitude and then send out gratitude on our exhale. All right, wherever you are, begin to rise on up, nice and slow. Walking your knees underneath your hip points if they're not already there. Walking your hands towards the long edges of your mat. Curl your toes under and lift your kneecaps away from the earth, just hovering here, building strength and stability in our body. Getting a little bit of core work in there. You got this. One more breath cycle. And then on our next breath out, let's send our hip points towards the sky, finding your downward dog. So once again, we've been here several times throughout our journey together. So find ways to show love and appreciation, some gratitude for your body by finding ease in this pose. Bending those knees, lifting the heels away from the earth, taking the dog for a walk by pedaling the feet. Find what feels good for you and your body. And then we eventually find some stillness. On our next breath in, let's begin to shift forward. So coming up onto our tiptoes, rolling through our spine, coming into a plank. Beautiful. Breathe in. And then on our exhale, begin to bend your elbows as we lower on down to our bellies. Wonderful. Just hang out here for one moment, one breath cycle. Perhaps showing an appreciation for the earth beneath us, keeping us nice and lifted and supported. Wonderful. Walk your hands off your mat. Fingertips to the earth. Elbows reaching on up towards the sky. Feet are roughly hip distance apart, pressing on into the tops of your feet. Rock that pelvis forward, pressing on into your pubic bone. Loop your shoulders to create some space between the shoulders as well as the ears. On our next breath in, let's rise on up, finding a nice little gentle back bend here, tucking in that chin slightly. And then on our exhale, melting it back on down 2 more times. Breathe on in. Rise on up. Exhale to lower. Breathe in. Exhale to lower. Walk your hands so that way they're in line with your rib cage. Press on into your hands, curl your toes under, and then rise on up into a plank pose. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then on the 1, we send our sit bones high to the sky, finding our downward facing dog. Wonderful job. All right. We're going to take a slow walk to the top edge of our mat. So take your time getting there. No rush. You can take this as an opportunity to really stretch through your feet, through your ankles, as well as the backs of your legs. And when you arrive there, you can place your feet hip distance apart, bend those knees, and perhaps just allow your head, your arms to hang loose here. You can find a little swaying action, side to side, totally up to you. And then we eventually find some stillness. On our next breath in, let's send our hands up and towards the sky, sending out gratitude and appreciation past our fingertips to all the beautiful people all over the world. All right, hands come together in prayer position, slice it on down through the middle to our heart. Find ways to lift and lengthen here, grow a little bit taller. Ground down through your feet and breathe. Okay, bring your hands to your waistline, and without looking back, trust yourself. Let's step our right foot back and behind us towards the back edge of our mat. Our toes will be pointing forward, heel lifted away from the earth. To find a little bit more space and stability here, let's begin to shimmy our left foot towards the left edge of our mat. Guide our hip points so that way they're facing towards the top edge of our mat, and then begin to sink into that front leg, stacking your knee over top of the ankle or slightly behind. All right, feel free to stay here, or on our next breath in, let's send our hands up and towards the sky, thumbs back, pinkies forward, finding our high lunge. Again, you can visualize sending gratitude past those fingertips. And then on our next exhale, let's send our hands back and behind us. Interlace your fingers, reaching your hands towards the earth and away from your body. Breathe in. And then on our next exhale, begin to melt forward, hinging at your hip, and then sending your hands towards the sky, building balance and stability here in our body. Breathe in. And then on our next exhale, we break free, sending our hands back up and overhead, finding our high lunge, and then melting on down. Hands come back to our waistline. Find a nice little generous bend in your back leg, and then step it on up to meet the front foot. Shake it off. And we're gonna do the same dance, but on the other side. So stepping the left foot back and behind us, toes pointing forward, heel lifted. Walking our right foot towards the right edge of our mat, bending on into our front leg, and then guiding our hip points so that way they're facing towards the front edge of our mat. So again, listen to your body. Feel free to stay here. Or if you would like, you can send your hands up and towards the sky on your next breath in. Palms facing one another. Breathe in. And then on our next exhale, we send our hands back and behind us, interlacing those fingers, reaching our hands towards the earth, and then slightly away from our body. Breathe in. And then on our next exhale, we begin to hinge forward, melting forward. Hands go up towards the sky, bowing our head slightly. Breathe in. And then on our next breath out, we break free, sending our hands back on up towards the sky, finding our high lunge. And then exhale, hands come back to our waistline. We bend that back knee and then step it up to the top of the mat. Just shake it off here. You're doing a great job. Let's bring our feet so that way they are off to the long edges of our mat. The toes are pointing out, the heels are pointing in slightly. Breathe in. All right, and now let's just begin to bend our knees. No worries if it's going past the ankles and the feet. You're gonna reach a point where you're gonna lift your heels away from the earth and then bring your hands to the earth to support you. All right, and now we're gonna find a little rocking motion back and forth. So dropping one heel to the earth at a time. This really allows us to stretch through our ankles, through our feet. Also offers a little bit of playtime, getting a nice stretch also in those hips. All right, and then once you feel happy, find stillness. Let's breathe on in together and out. Let's swim our hands back and behind us to support us as we come to a seated position on our mat. You can bring the soles of your feet on the earth, knees point on up towards the sky, and then wrap your arms around your shins. Bow your head. Feel free to close your eyes here, giving yourself a warm embrace. Perhaps taking a moment to show gratitude, appreciation for your body, and all the amazing things that it does for us on a day-to-day basis. The human body is truly an amazing thing. Perhaps you say to yourself, I am grateful for you, for my body. We are here for one breath cycle. All right. Begin to slowly lift your head on up. You can open up your eyes now, and we are going to make our way down to our backs. Feel free to take out your hair elastic or clip, whatever you have in your hair, and let's roll on down. When you arrive here, place the soles of your feet on the earth, knees point on up towards the sky. Our feet are roughly hip distance apart. All right. Place your hands on the earth, walking your fingers towards your heels, pressing into your foundation, all that is touching the earth as you just tuck in your chin slightly. On our next breath in, let's lift our hip points away from the earth. Perhaps you snuggle the shoulder blades underneath the back body just to get a little bit more of an opening in our chest. And then on our next breath out, let's begin to slowly lower on down to the earth. Wonderful. 2 more times. Breathe on in, lifting those hips up towards the sky, pressing into our foundation. And then exhale to lower. Breathe in. And out. All right, bring your feet to the long edges of your mat, toes point out slightly, and then melt your knees in towards one another. Place your left hand on your heart space and the right hand on your belly. I invite you to close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze as we breathe and reflect. So once again, my friends, I invite you to think about what you feel grateful for. It can be the exact same thing. It could be something different. How do you plan to practice gratitude and show gratitude to others? This could be by simply saying, I am grateful for you. It could be cooking them a meal. If it's a dog, maybe you take your dog on a nice adventure out in the woods for a hike. There's no right or wrong answer, just something to simply consider. And perhaps when you practice gratitude, you take a moment just to notice how you feel, and maybe even just how other people feel around you. It's kind of like a ripple effect. Let's breathe on in some gratitude together. And then breathe out gratitude. Lovely. Open up your eyes if they were closed. Let's hug our knees in towards our chest and then just kind of rock from side to side here, just massaging through the back body. This may feel really nice for the low back, especially after that posture. And then we eventually find stillness, place the hands at the backs of your legs, and let's just rock and roll the length of our spine to a seat, or you can come up through a fetal position. And when you arrive there, find a seat of your choice. Breathe on in through your nose, and then out through the nose or the mouth. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. At the end of our yoga classes here together, I extend an invitation for you to connect and reflect. So I provide some writing prompts for you to think about, and you can write them in your journal or in a notebook. This is 100% optional. So number 1 is, I am grateful for. This could be 1, it could be 2, 3 things. And if you're unsure, it's okay. Just leave it blank and you can always come back to it. Number 2, I can show gratitude to others by. So what are ways in which you can demonstrate gratitude? And number 3, gratitude means. So what is your understanding of the word gratitude? All right, day number 6 done. Oh my goodness, we are heading on into day number 7, which is our final day together. It will be a day of reflection and celebration. I cannot wait to see you there. Take good care, my friends, and namaste.